Guys, I'm just sitting here at the Eagon yard, bored. Thought I'd go on and hang out for a little bit. It just got my truck washed. It looks all fancy shiny now. I went and dropped off my load. It wasn't supposed to be dropped off till tomorrow, so I got that early. I already scanned that paperwork in, and hopefully I get my door latch fixed tomorrow. And hopefully they get this fixed so I can have my cruise control back. And hopefully I get onto a load and get driving quickly tomorrow. I'm not hanging out all day tomorrow. So I'm parked in front of my trailer. I put a glad hand locked on the red line. So when my truck goes in the shop, hopefully no one will touch it. So um, just kind of hoping that I get out of here pretty quick tomorrow. So I kind of told my dispatcher I wanted to get into a Freightliner and told her that I was just tired of how heavy this truck was and having to wrestle with the weights because of how heavy I am up front. But um, if she can't find one, I'll be fine. I can deal with it. I just really getting tired of being so heavy because I'm pretty good at scaling and sliding my tandems and getting things, but oh man, I have just never had a truck that has been so heavy on the front end. I'm just not used to that. I'm used to having easier to manage weights and the heavy weight being on the drives and the trailer, not up front on the steers so much and being just crazy heavy. But no big deal. I can deal with it. It's just, I'm just not used to having it being constantly heavy on the front end like that. It is just crazy the way this truck is heavy. But let's see. There. Now I can see any messages that pop up. Hopefully. But uh I just can't wait to get loaded to get the load out of here tomorrow and hopefully get back heading towards either Salt Lake City or back down to um, Illinois and get back on my lane that I'm supposed to be on and hopefully get some good miles in and not be sitting too long to lose out on the miles. But I want this crap to get fixed. Apparently there's a software update or something they got to do and some sort of a sensor or something they got to fix. I don't know. Whatever got knocked out of place or messed up in that um, hard blowing high wind snow that I was in Wyoming on Friday. So, or I would say Thursday, probably out in Wyoming. So, um, on the other thing, I kind of got a little pissed off at the pilot down there in Joliet because they kicked me out of my parking spot. And it was all right because I was able to go pick up my load early and get going. So it worked out. But I was planning on staying there and getting some sleep. But the stupid guy from the pilot was going around knocking on the doors. Oh, you gotta leave. Someone's paid for this spot. I'm just like, I told him this paid parking stuff is a bunch of BS because it should be first come, first serve. And it's not fair for drivers that are far away, that aren't even in the same state yet, probably, that aren't going to be there for another couple of hours, depending, to be able to reserve a spot when there's truckers that are already there parked. The old days, you didn't have to worry about that prepaid parking. And in some parts of the country, these truck stops have gone to where almost the whole parking lot is that reserved paid parking. And I have noticed that there are a couple areas, some truck stops that aren't really enforcing the reserved parking too much. But that might be just that when I parked in some of those spots before, no one had reserved those spots, so they never came out and tried to force me out. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But it's a pink, it's like a pink truck. Almost. Huh. But I was hoping to get into one of these Freightliners. There's another truck. Looks just like mine right there. You look over there, they got a purple one, they got red ones, green ones, blue ones. They got classic style ones. For those of you that don't work for Bay and Bay and don't already know. But anyway, I got till tomorrow whenever they come get my truck to work on it. Hopefully it'll be first thing in the morning. And hopefully it don't take long. I'm hoping I won't have to tear this door apart myself to fix this lock. And I hope that the latch is in the door and not completely missing. So, because I'm getting tired of having to worry about this door being locked and having to make sure I got the spare key on me every time I jump out of the truck so I don't get locked out, because it won't unlock when I open up the door like most trucks. A lot of trucks are designed so that you can't lock yourself out, so you have to use the key to lock it when you get out. And I think this truck should be like that, but because the latch isn't there, the door knob thingy is stuck down in. So I just hope I got all the right tools to be able to take the panel off if I wind up having to take matters into my own hands. But I did buy a lockout kit, which I haven't taken out of the package yet. I was going to take that out and play with it for a video one of these times, so I could practice using it. We'll see if I can't get into my own truck using it. And I'll make sure to leave that side unlocked and see if I can get into the driver's door with it. So it's just a matter of playing the waiting game. And I'm trying to decide if I want to film one of the videos that I want to do for an edited video while I'm sitting here at the yard. I can either do one about trip planning, I can do one a little bit more about the paid parking thing that I was just talking about, or there's a few other ideas I could talk about too. I mean, there's all kinds of things I could talk about, but it's just a matter of getting it all planned out and doing it. So I am definitely Gonna be bored out of my mind waiting until tomorrow, but I will be able to catch up on some sleep. Watch some more of my Smallville, and I might make my mom's poor man's chow mein recipe and film it. That might be the cooking video I do, and use that stuff up. Um, I don't know where my mom got this recipe, but basically you just ground some hamburger up, and then you obviously got to drain off the grease. I'm gonna have to do it in paper towels because obviously I don't have access to a sink. Well, technically I do inside the shop here, but I'm not gonna go in there and cook. Um, I'll just do it out here in the truck. But I can squeeze out the grease and some paper towels, and then you take cream of mushroom soup, some water chestnuts, um, and some mushrooms, and you pour that over some white rice, which is then over some chow mein noodles, and then you just use however much soy sauce you like, and that's pretty much the gist of it. And it's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot like any of those La Choy meals that you would buy and make. For those of you that are into stir fry like meals, if you're into those type of meals, some people are, some people aren't, and a fairly easy meal to make. The hardest part is making some rice up there in the microwave and browning some hamburger in the skillet. And then after I drain off the grease, I just got to warm up that um, cream of mushroom soup with the mushrooms and the water chestnuts in there. And um, I'll only need to use like one can of each thing, and I'll have to um, probably not use all of some of the ingredients. When I was out in Wyoming, I was out in that blinding snow and all that wind blowing on the truck did something to the truck so I don't have cruise control. I have a traction control light on, ABS light on, and whatever this other little light is. It looks like a bobtail or the back of a trailer with a squiggly line. And I can't reset it, the computer. And they told me in here that this truck doesn't work like that. You can't just turn off the truck for so long. Like in the Freightliners in Allen Ritchie, if you got a bunch of warning lights or whatever, or got any of a whole bunch of stuff on the dash, you literally just had to like go park somewhere, turn off the truck, and let it sit for 5 minutes or so at least, and at least sit for 5 minutes. And sometimes it took several times, but you could reset the computer. You got to turn the key and let the thing cycle before you start the truck, and then you get rid of all that crap. Well, apparently the Kenworths don't work that way, so I don't know. Part of the reason why I want to get out of Kenworth, it's heavier. I'm just more familiar with Freightliners, more comfortable. I think there'll be more space, more better cabinet space, I think. And I just think I'll like it more all the way around, but I haven't really driven Bay and Bay Freightliners, so I don't know if it's really gonna be that much difference. So I might just stick with the truck I have because this is a nice truck. I mean, it drives nice. It's just heavy, and I'm tired of being so heavy on the front and having to struggle with the weights so much because I'm like sky high with the weights on. I technically should have brought this load back to the shipper because I was over gross, not by much, by like 80 pounds. I scaled the load 3 times, and I was overgrossed by 80 pounds the first time, and then only 40 pounds. And then the last time, it jumped up to being overweight by like 120 pounds. And it just didn't make sense how the weight shifted the last time. And I just kind of said screw it because I didn't want to fuck with it anymore. I knew I knew I was gonna burn off the fuel anyway, and I had enough fuel to make it up here. And I waited, and I did do my fuel stop there in Menomonee at the Loves, Menomonee, Wisconsin, because I was like only like 60 miles from the shop then, and I came straight here, and I knew I was gonna make it by those spots, but I don't know. I need to start taking these loads back a little more instead of um, just going with it the way I've been doing, because I just don't feel like going back and having to wait for them to redo the shit and stuff. And most of the time, I've been able to just make it work and just run a little lower on fuel and make weight that way. So, but I'm gonna have to start being a little bit more of a stickler about taking this stuff back to the shippers when the weights are so uneven. But most of the time, it hasn't been that bad. They did tell me, they did verify with me. We have a some sort of a permit in our book for the APU. We're supposed to actually get an extra 500 on the truck because of the APU. So I can be over by 500 pounds on the truck because of the APU. But um, the shop guy said no, there's nothing with the tri-pack of the trailer to give you any allowances for weight. So, but I still want to talk to an actual DOT officer and get it um, either on the DOT site, find it. I wasn't able to find it yet on the DOT website, but I want to find it in writing. Um, the certain allowances and stuff, but I know you got to look on the truck, like the steers, find out what the rating is of the steers themselves. Depending on your tires, sometimes you can have a little more allowances, but you're still stuck with not being able to be over gross. You still got all that. So anyway, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm just not used to being that friggin' heavy on the front. Pretty busy place sometimes. Um, the guy I did that interview just got a new truck, or a different truck, because his was in the shop all the time. And I just got himself a different truck. He's on that lease purchase program. He made him get a different thing. 500 pounds for the APU, yeah. That's what the mechanic said. But he said there's no extra allowances for the reefer for the trailer is what I was talking about. Because another driver told me that you could look up on the site for Thermo King and there's supposed to be some sort of allowances for extra for the tri pack of the trailer, but the um, mechanic said that that's not true, but and it probably isn't true. And I don't know. It all depends on what your tires are rated for and all that stuff. I'm just never had weights in my 23 years driven trucks that are as heavy as this one, where when I scale out, it's like 12,000, like 12,600 something, 700 something on the steers. But yet I usually have been able to get the weights right on the drives and the trailer, but I'm like sky high on the steers. And I'm just like, I know I don't have that much crap on the cab of this truck. I know I got some stuff, and I know there's probably some stuff I could take off the truck to make the truck a little lighter, but I didn't bring that much crap on this truck. I've been on other trucks. I've been on Volvos and Freightliners and um, Internationals and had a lot more crap on the truck and was never as heavy as I am here. Yeah, the mechanic did say there's like two states that don't let you get away with it. He said I'd have to look in this book here. Let me see if I can find it. Is there supposed to be a permit or something? See if I can tell. I'm just going to look without taking them out first, and then I'll start pulling stuff out. See if I can tell just by looking at the outside of these things. Maybe this is it. Weight distance permit. Says something about weight, but I don't think this is it though. No, this isn't it. This is just declaring that you can't up to 80,000 gross and all right. There's got to be a deal in here though. He said there was something in this book. Let's see, temporary credential receipt application. Panel inspection. Maybe it's over here. Best pass complete. Pass scout. What is this crap? Certificate of weight, vehicle weight exemption. Thermo King certifies that their auxiliary power unit, known as the Tri-Pack, has a published system weight of 500 pounds. 227 kilograms. This weight may vary from tractor to tractor depending on installation, accessories. Below is the summary of a portion of the energy bill. On August 8th, 2005, President George Bush signed the energy bill. Democracy Barton Energy Policy, or however you say that. So, regulate the weight of the vehicles to be used on interstate highways. This section provides a 400-pound vehicle weight exemption for idle reduction technology. Okay. Heavy duty vehicles. Subject to subparagraphs B and C in order to promote reduction of fuel use. Maximum weight increase. The weight increase under subparagraph A shall be not greater than 400 pounds. Proof. On request by a regulatory agency or law enforcement agency, the vehicle operator shall provide proof through demonstration of certification that the auto reduction technology is fully functional at all times and the 400-pound gross increase is not used for any purpose other than the use of auto reduction technology. So that's Thermo King. And then there's another thing here, weight certification. Rigmaster Power by MTS certifies that the weight of the Rigmaster Power APU will cover is 196 kilograms, 431.2 pounds, and thus qualifies for weight exemption as per Section 756 of the Energy Policy Act of 2005. So, I can be up to 500 pounds over, and I know where this paper is in case I do get pulled in. But that's it. I can only be 5. Let me see. Is there any more papers in there about stuff? Let's see. There is a couple. They did say that there was a couple states that won't allow you. Oh, the states that don't allow for this exemption: California, District of Columbia, Hawaii, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Rhode Island. And in Louisiana, weight tolerance varies by parish. Massachusetts, by rule legislation in process. Okay. So there's that. This is just something to do with the pre-pass, I think. Yeah. So what else? Are there any other exemption deals in here for weights? It's the same thing I just looked at. This is Omnitrax, fuel tax agreement, order carry permit. Attention drivers, if you will be traveling to or through Vermont, you may need a permit if you are traveling on US 4 from the I'm assuming that's New Hampshire border to Highway 100. If you'll be traveling more than 1 mile off the interstate in Idaho, you will need a permit. If driving through Maryland, be aware that there are highways within the state that are restricted to nothing longer than 48-foot trailers. If you are ever in doubt, please call. Think about extra weight, extra length, excess weight up to 129,000 pounds. I don't know what this thing is. Total gross weight not to exceed. What is this for? Legal route, no permit required. See notes. Oh, this is for Idaho. So, alcohol beverage control, premises address, site ID. This is 2023. I know that we got 2024 ones in here. So some of this stuff is expired. It just never got taken out. New York State Liquor Authority. Okay. State of Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control. Pennsylvania. Alright. It's just liquor, just more liquor stuff. I haven't really hauled too much liquor for Bay and Bay. I've only had a couple of loads that I knew that had alcohol. Like I did one dry van load. As far as I know, I've only done one load, and it was kind of a short haul where I picked up. I used one of their dry vans and went and picked up, I think somewhere here in Minnesota, and drove like 400 or 500 miles to go drop off in, I think, Wisconsin. This is all stuff from 2023. All right. Well, and now we know. For those of you that didn't know, now you do. I read it off to you, at least for Bay and Bay. That, I don't know if that probably just goes for anybody with an APU. Alright, I got a few questions, brother. I want to know how's the money over there. I don't know if I'm going to be paid. No, I'll probably not get paid anything for just sitting here. But the money has been good. I qualified with my years of experience to get paid 64 cents a mile. But that was because of my years of experience. Even though I'm rusty at some of this stuff because I've been hauling mail for the last 10 years, minus 2 different times I left Al and Richie to go work at Randy's to do liquid egg exempt miles, and that was a bunch of BS because I didn't get any sleep, and because I wasn't getting a whole lot of sleep, and my wife wouldn't let me get sleep at home because she didn't really like me having that job much. But I was pretty much in, ag exempt miles, and you could literally drive indefinitely and never sleep under the rules of ag exempt miles, depending on if you were within 150 air miles or 130, 150, which that's air miles, which opens you up for quite a distance. And It's only I think supposed to be for pickups at the time, but drivers were using it for pickups and drops, and pretty much just driving constantly. And I was just getting cat naps most of the time, which is why in whatever year I was at Randy's, I dozed off for a quick second and went off into the ditch. And I have a video. If you go back in my videos, I have a short video which just has music over it, where I showed pictures of the Randy's truck. First, I put on there the ditch I went off on. That was south of Cameron. It was the exit 33 on the southbound side, and this is how tired I was. I was on the phone with my wife, and she was yelling at me while I was driving, and I still kind of dozed off just ever so briefly, and I missed the exit. I was gonna pull over at that rest area right before that exit that's just north of there on the southbound side on I-35. I was gonna pull off and try to get a little bit of a nap because I knew I was tired, but I had her in my ear, so I just kept driving. So I will never ever be as tired behind the wheel as I was when I was at Randy's. And I pushed myself to the limits, and I think it kind of ruined me to drive all that tired. I get plenty of sleep on the truck now, but then, and I went to Randy's with a perfect driving record. I didn't have any speeding tickets. I hadn't had any accidents in ever since I first started driving at CR England back in 2000, and I had a perfect record. And I went to Randy's and I got stupid and got at least two, if not three, speeding tickets. I got two at Randy's and then one when I went back to Alan Ritchie. I had that stupid accident driving off the road because I dozed off just long enough to doze off and go off into the ditch. And so I am still kind of trying to let some of that stuff fall off my record. And then there was just a couple of stupid things that I got pulled over for that I didn't even get tickets for. I just got warnings for, but those follow you too. It was just stupid things. And I couldn't believe that followed me as well. But shit happens, man. You just got to be careful. Make sure you get plenty of sleep. Know your tolerances. Know what you yourself are capable of doing. And the only way to know that is to push yourself to the limits. But don't be an idiot and do it. And just purposely try to go without sleep just to see what you can handle. But it's like when you first get your CDL and you start driving, you don't have that muscle for staying up for a full drive shift. Usually at first, a lot of new drivers don't know how long they can drive for behind the wheel, and it takes sometimes some drivers a little bit of time to get used to driving a 10 to 11 hour drive shift. I started out being able to pretty much handle it. And I also started out where I didn't have bladder problems and stuff like that. That was stuff that later in life, I gotta kind of monitor how much I drink fluids, because Oh yeah, I I definitely stop when I'm tired, but um, I know the difference between when I'm too tired to drive or when I'm just uh, that thing where you got to get that second wind in. There's that thing where you get um, in your drive shift, especially if you're driving at that um, time in the morning, about 3 to 4 in the morning, a lot for a lot of drivers, where it's that circadian rhythm thing where a lot of drivers will start getting tired, or whatever. A lot of drivers at that wee hours of the morning, I think most drivers will start feeling kind of tired during those hours of the morning. And it's really, as long as you've had enough, um, yeah, thanks, Mark. It's really just a matter of knowing the difference between when you're actually too tired to be behind the wheel and knowing when you just need to push yourself a little bit and then you'll get a second wind. And you gotta know the difference. And the only way you know the difference is to kind of push yourself within the realm of reason. And you gotta know whether or not sometimes you just gotta stop, pull over, and get out and go for a quick little walk or something, because sitting behind the wheel and it can get kind of boring. And there's a lot of drivers that are, you know, watching TV on their phones as they go down the road because it helps keep them awake. They're not necessarily watching their phones so much as listening to it. They'll put on YouTube and listen to music and jam out, because you can't rely on good, reliable music through your radio. So you use YouTube and to watch music videos, and you don't necessarily sit there and watch them. You're listening through your headset or whatever, especially if you're on a team truck. Like, if you're on a team truck, you might be listening to music through an MP3 player or through your phone or whatever, and it helps keep you awake, keeps your mind entertained. But there's just a lot of drivers that don't know how to um how do I want to say this, drive and keep their eyes on the road when they're doing that stuff. And they'll be all over the road because they don't know how to treat that phone just like another one of your mirrors, and keep your head on a bobber stick. And why am I not getting breakdown pay? Because I am um I think because I'm a company driver. I'm not um a lease purchase person. Oh no, I could ask my um dispatcher if I'm able to get breakdown pay for sitting here. Maybe if I say something. A lot of times with some of that crap, you gotta say something or they'll never give it to you. If you say something, you'll get it. But if you don't say anything, they'll just they won't give it to you unless you say something. So maybe I need to say something about that. Maybe I should put something in before I leave tomorrow. What time is it? Yeah, my dispatcher's already left for the day. She leaves at 4. So thanks for mentioning that. I'll have to put a message in and see what they say. I don't even know how much breakdown pay would be. Um, I'm just a company driver, so I don't know nothing about what the lease purchase stuff does and how that stuff works. But and I don't know how the breakdown pay stuff works or if I'm eligible for that. So that is um, definitely something I should think about. I never even thought about it. So thanks for mentioning it, because I'll try to ask about that. Because shit, if I can get paid for something, I might as well. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I ought to push to try to get a Freightliner, or you think I ought to just try to stay on this truck and just deal with it? Most of the time, it's been fine. I've just never driven a truck that is so friggin' heavy on the truck end of everything. I've always been able to. I asked, but they don't have any trucks, or at least they said they have no trucks um, here that I can grab. I would rather have a Freightliner because I'm used to Freightliners. They're lighter. I think that I'd have better cabinet space, and I would understand the controls better because that's what I'm used to driving. I was driving the brand new Freightliner Cascadias at Allen Ritchie. I just didn't have, I was hauling mail, light as hell. I didn't have to scale anything. I didn't have to slide tandem weights. I didn't have to worry about all that BS. I didn't have to do anything. So um, I'm just rusty. I know how to do this stuff. I just am rusty at a lot of it. What was it, like 3 years ago? I was at K&B and I was driving a Freightliner, and I was going to a lot of the same places I've been going to here. I went to at least 3 or 4 places that for Bay and Bay that I knew I had been to with K&B, and I never had any problems with being extremely heavy on the truck portion. I did have a couple of loads that I took back because I was because I was so out of whack I couldn't fix the weights. But here things are just so heavy on the front and so unbalanced between the front and the back of the weights and tandems that I just never dealt with it to that extreme before. And that's what's making me worry about getting an overweight ticket one of these days. And because I know how to shift the weights and slide the tandems and do all that crap, but the truck is just so much heavier than what I'm used to. And so I have tried to just take the attitude of treating it like a challenge of my skills and just dealing with it. But especially after this last load that was pretty much a little bit overweight, and I was just a little over half full, and I knew I could get all the way up here on the fuel I had, and I decided to take a chance and just top off all my fuels at Manamoni, Wisconsin, and I got the bypass on the scale just inside Minnesota. But I was just like kind of like just a little pissed off about the weights on my truck and just dealing with this every friggin' load. of being so heavy on the front end. So this is how bad my weights were with this load, and I should have taken it back, and I didn't. I could have gotten in trouble for it. I know better. I do know better. But this is what I should have taken it back, and I didn't do it. My first scale, I'll show you guys. I can't slide the fifth wheel. I knew I should have taken it back. Let's see. Is this stuff reversed for you guys? Can you read that? That was my first scale before I slid my tandems. This was before I slid my tandems all the way to the front. So it was 12,660 pounds on the steers, 35,420 pounds on the drives, but it was only 32,000 flat on the trailer. And that's when I slid my tandems all the way forward. My gross was 80,080 pounds. I figured that was fuel. I wasn't so worried about that because I knew I'd burn that off in fuel pretty quickly. So, and let's see, where's the second one? Oh, come on. I dropped one of these. I scaled it 3 times. I just kind of got pissed off and said fuck it and just drove. Here's the second one. I remember that this was the second one. I was 12,560 pounds on the steers after I slid them forward, all the way forward. 33,220 on the drives. And then I was 34,260 on the trailer and only 40,000 over gross. I should have just left it at that, but I tried to move it back. Let's see. I tried to move it back like 2 holes to try to get some of the weight off the trailer and move some of it back onto the drives. And then it was 12,540 on the steers, 3,400 on the drives, and then I was like 33,080 on the trailer, and then it was 120 over gross. And I was just like, that's crazy that it went that much. I've never seen weights do that crap that much. And I just kind of said screw it and went, because I knew I would probably burn a lot of that off, but I should have put it back to where it was on the second slide. But that would have been 4 cat scales. But I just never seen that heavy of weights on a truck ever. In 23 years, I've never had a truck be so heavy all the time. I've always had where it was heavy, but it was only like by a few 100 pounds here and there, and I just had to slide the tandems a little bit, and I could even it out. And usually I just knew exactly where I needed to move it. I didn't know how many holes to move it. I just kind of guessed and moved and slid the tandems like, okay, I think I need to move the tandems by about this much, and I did. And then I put the pins back in and then rescaled, and usually I had it. But on this truck, it's just so wild how heavy it is. It just kind of pisses me off and annoys the crap out of me. So I should have brought that back and had it reworked. But I kind of also, that second time, the second cat scale, I should have pretty much just left it. No, not the second time. Let's see. Not the second time because I was over on the trailer by 260 pounds. So that's why I tried to move it 2 holes back to bring some of the weight back onto the drives, and I just tried to move like 2 holes. So whatever. It was one of those things there. I knew better. I knew I should have just driven back to the shipper and had him redo it, but I didn't. And I could have gotten, I could have gotten caught, and I could have gotten my first overweight ticket ever. But whatever. It's just wild that I've never seen those high of weights on anything I've ever hauled. And I've hauled heavy loads, and it's not like the weights that they're putting in the box are all that heavy. I mean, 43 to 44,000 pound in the box on average, and that's not too bad. So whatever. I just got to be more careful in the future and not get pissed off like that at the truck. And because next time I could get pulled into the scale and get that nice big fat fine and get screwed. I know better, but I was just frustrated at the situation because I've been dealing with these heavy weights since day one, and just um, never dealt with this heavy of a truck before. I've always had where it was more reasonable weights, and I had that heavy in the box, and I was only over by a couple 100 pounds, and all I had to do was slide the tandems a few pins and be good. I have very rarely had to run with less fuel just to make weight. I don't think I ever had to do it that year I drove with K&B. And I really didn't worry about weights too much with Randy's with the liquid egg, because I really wasn't driving past a whole lot of scales, and most of the scales where I was driving were usually closed or not even in operation in most of the places I was going. I was out on back highways and stuff most of the time. So it really wasn't a big deal. So whatever. No, they're hiring drivers. They got a new class of new orientation people like every week. And I don't know, they said they didn't have any. The mechanic in there is one that told me that there's no trucks here, but I see a bunch of trucks over here, bobtails over there in the middle row, and I don't know how many of them are Freightliners and how many of them are Kenworths, but I wish I could just go over there and grab one or get sent down to Denton, Texas. They had a whole bunch of bobtails down there too. I don't think they have a lot of trucks up in Logansport, Indiana. Um, I saw mostly just trailers there loaded and empty and stuff there, but um, I think mostly all the trucks I seen at Logansport, Indiana were trucks that drivers were in sleeping in and stuff. I don't think I remember there being any like trucks where I know they do orientation at Logansport and stuff, so I'm sure that they do get trucks there for the drivers. I see a purple bobtail straight ahead, a couple of red ones, a couple of gray ones, And if I could see past the trailers, I'm sure they got a whole bunch of them over there. But I don't know how many of those are ones that are drivers' trucks that they're in right now, and how many of them are trucks they're getting ready to give to people getting ready to come off of orientation this week. So they might have them assigned to drivers already. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But I'm hoping, because I would really like to get into a Freightliner and get into a lighter truck, even though I was told that the Freightliners here are also heavy. But the mechanic said that these newer Kenworths with the Cummins engines are heavier because of the engines in them are heavier. And he didn't say by how much or anything, but I need to stop and get an empty weight with an empty trailer and get an empty weight with my truck the way it is. And I keep meaning to do it, and I haven't done it yet. But I think I'm going to take my next opportunity. Like if I leave here to go pick up a load tomorrow, I think I'm going to take my empty trailer with my full fuels and go get an empty weight and see what my weight is up front without a load on, to see if I'm astronomically heavy on the front, and have that scale ticket. I'm going to probably have to pay for it. I might be able to get away with getting Bay to pay for it, but it's only 13-14 bucks or something for a scale ticket. And it'll be a smart idea for me to get my empty weight, so I know for future reference what my true weights are empty with full fuel. And that way I know whether or not I got too much crap on this truck and I need to take some stuff off. As soon as we get out of the chaining season, I can take these 4 bags of chains out of the side box, but I don't know how much weight that is for the bags of chains, but they are pretty heavy. But that would help a little bit. Every little bit would help. And I could take those off and take those home until next winter time. And some of the food I have on the truck, which it's not going to be that much to matter, because most of the food I'm going to take off is going to be things that are carbs, because I'm going to get back on my keto diet and try to lose some weight. Because I'm up to now 200 and, wait, no. Yeah, 200, 200, yeah, 200 pounds, I think, is what I weighed. 200 pounds. Wait. Yeah, 200. I can't remember. I'm getting tired, so I'm getting a little bit delirious. But I am, yeah, I've definitely gained more weight in the last several months, because I was um, keeping it down right about at a 200 mark, and then I've gained some weight here lately because I'm not getting as much exercise. Because at Alan Ritchie, I was home every couple of days, and I was chasing around the kids and things like that, and I was running around like chicken with my head cut off, taking care of things around the house and with the kids and doing this and that. We were constantly going out to the store shopping, so I was walking around, at the mall and at Walmart and Sam's, like constantly. So I was getting little bits of exercise, and now I'm a lot more sedentary. And I'm not necessarily eating a lot, but I'm eating things that um, a lot more carb heavy stuff. So I'm gaining more weight because I'm sedentary. And I've been hitting the soda here and there a little more. When I go home, I grab some of my wife's Mountain Dew, and I've been getting some sun kiss on the road and stuff like that. So it's just the way it is. So, yeah. But I think everything will be all right. I'll just have to be more careful in the future with my weights and make sure I don't get an overweight ticket. And hopefully, my dispatcher will be looking out for a Freightliner for me because I would much rather be on a truck that will hopefully be lighter than this heavy ass Kenworth with its Cummins engine and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a nice truck. It's a brand new Kenworth 2024 T680. It's got a nice interior, nice body. It's nice. I mean, it doesn't have a narrow ass cab where I gotta do that. Like some of those Kenworths with the narrow cabs, you lose your mirrors when you try to back up and stuff. That's what I was worried about with getting a Kenworth. Turns out the only thing I really care about trying to change is getting the making it so I not so heavy up front. Yep. Yeah, I know that the shop told me the allowance of 500 with the APU. But when I'm having good weights on my drives and trailers and my steers are up at 12,007 to 800, and I've got to try to pull that weight off, and there's been a few times it's just crazy how heavy it is up front. And I don't think I have that much crap on the cab of this truck to say that I have accumulated so much crap on the cab of this truck that's the reason why. I mean, it could be. There could be like a couple 100 pounds there that I could try to take off this truck and crap I have on the truck between some of the canned food I have on the truck. But it's not that much. I don't have that much canned food on the truck. I got like a drawer full and some in the cabinet. Some clothes. I got 4 bags of chains in the cab or in the side box over here. A little bit of tools. A case of water and a case of bottles of tea. I brought quite a bit of clothes. I've been thinking about taking some of those clothes off, but I mean, clothes aren't going to make that much pounds of difference. I'm just trying to figure out what I can change to help with the weight. But I don't know. It's just crazy how heavy it is. Yep. It is a fixed fifth wheel. The only place I've ever driven in my 23 years of driving that has had a sliding fifth wheel was the very first place I went driving at, and that was CR England. They had sliding fifth wheels and sliding trailer tandems both, and you could slide them both. It's the only place I've ever been at that had both. And anywhere else I've ever driven has never had sliding fifth wheels. It's always been fixed. And so it kind of limits you, but usually you shouldn't have to, it shouldn't matter. You should normally, under normal conditions, be able to fix your weights just with sliding the trailer tandems if the places you're going to are loading your stuff right. Sometimes you got to take your stuff back and tell them to reload your stuff to even out the weights in the drives and the trailer, because normally you don't have to worry too much about your steers. So it's just that the Kenworth's so friggin' heavy. But you know, if it winds up being that I brought so much crap on this truck that's why I have so much weight up front, then I can easily take some stuff off. But I doubt that I have brought that much crap on the truck that it has caused me to be that much over. It's possible, but I doubt it. The cumulative weight of everything might, but I doubt it. I doubt I have that much weight, but it is possible. But I'm definitely going to have to go get my empty weight. Maybe tomorrow, if I'm able to stop by a cat scale on the way to pick up. If I have the opportunity, I'll stop and get an empty weight. I've been meaning to do it, and I've had some opportunities, and I just kind of space cadeted it off. Didn't think about it when I had the opportunity because I'm an airhead. So, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do with myself this evening. Oops, I'm trying to plug my phone in here. I just saw that my battery was getting down. There. So, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna make for dinner. If I'm just going to make something simple, like just open up a can of Dainty Moore stew, or if I'm gonna make that video of that poor man's chow mein, or something else. I got time to kill. I could do another edited video of something, and I might. I probably will wind up doing something. I got plenty of time to kill. I just don't know. I might be able to do two videos, do a cooking video and do something on some sort of subject. I do need to redo my sliding tandems video that I did that's a few years old from when I was at K&B, because I really need to make a shorter version of that video and show how to slide tandems for people that don't know what they're doing, and do a much better job of explaining that stuff and make it shorter and sweeter than what I did, because I kind of said a couple of things wrong in that video, and so I was sliding tandems with a very light load, and I was just sliding my tandems so that I wouldn't have my trailer tandems all the way to the back. And I kept saying comments about trying to push weight onto my steers, and there was no friggin' way I was gonna push weight off onto my steers. And in the same breath, I was talking about taking. I was literally going to be taking weight, um, sliding my tandems forward, and I was literally going to be taking weight off the drives and steers. But for some reason, I was just saying stupid stuff in that video. And I need to remake that video better. I tried to make several videos on the same subject so there's more content out there for those drivers out there that didn't get proper training on this stuff, or still are very not very confident in what they're doing, and they want to be able to go look up, is their health insurance expensive? Yes, I was told it is, but I take insurance through my wife at her job, because trucking jobs tend to have really crappy insurance, very high. Most places. In Bain Bay is no different. Alan Ritchie's was sky high as well. So my wife works for a medical place, and she tends to get better insurance. So I just don't take the insurance where I've been driving at. And for the last several years, I just opt out of the insurance and take the insurance through my wife. So if you have that opportunity to do that, do it. If you have a significant other who has insurance through their job, do that. Because most trucking jobs have crappy insurance. Like sky high deductibles and all that, and they just rape your paycheck and all kinds of stuff. So that's part of why I've been able to bring in more income, because I still pay my wife. I pay for the car payment, but I also pay her like for insurance, for being on her insurance. So I'll pay her for like, basically I'm paying her $400 a month for insurance, and then I'm paying her car payment, which is right around $400. So I've been giving her $200 each paycheck, except for here lately. I got to catch up. I got to catch up a couple payments that I fell behind on because of those couple of paychecks that were low, because I forgot to check the confirmations on those 6 loads, and then I've got to play catch up on those, just because I didn't make sure that the confirmations were actually confirmations on the loads I used dock caller to scan in. So yeah, here's the load I scanned in. This load was 509 miles. That was just to get me from Joliet to up here, so I could get the shit fixed on my truck. So I keep these come on. Keep these cards. My daughter likes to take them. I don't know if she really does anything with them, but she likes it when I give them to her. I don't know what she's doing with them, but she seems to like the fact that I give them to her, so I save them for her. Whenever I go home, I'll hand them to her. I have no idea what she does with them. And what I've been doing with these, I did buy an actual one of those plastic file things, Tupperware file things, but I wound up using it to keep my bread and bagels and some of my dry goods in that I didn't have room for in the cabinet. And most of that stuff's pretty light, just like bread and a box of rice and stuff. I've been keeping all my paperwork up there for loads that I've done, and eventually I'll go up here and I'm gonna get rid of them all. But so far I still got plenty of room for more up there. So, but that's the one I got this time. Got 3 of them for those 3 scales. So, whatever. It is what it is. It's all part of trucking. Always playing the waiting game somewhere. If you're not waiting to get your truck fixed, you're waiting to get loaded or unloaded, or waiting to get a load. And hopefully you're not waiting long in between and get from one load to the next and are getting the miles in and not sitting too much. So hopefully my next couple of loads will be some big miles with drop and hook, so that I can just mob on in, drop the trailer, grab an empty, and go pick the next load up and get gone. Because the live loads and live unloads suck, because when you run early, like I've been doing, as early as I've been doing, half the time they don't let you in more than a couple hours early. If you're lucky, they let you in and will work you in and get you unloaded, but you just never know when that's going to happen. So, I wonder what these fools are doing. They got a mechanic and a driver wandering around. What are they doing? Are they looking for a trailer or something? They just literally walked in a big old circle. Huh. Whatever. Well, shoot, I've been on here for almost an hour and a half, an hour and 23 minutes. Yeah. But for those of you that want to ask me questions about lease purchase stuff, I've never done lease purchase or owner operator stuff. I do company because I just don't trust the lease purchase programs and stuff. And some people do very well at it. I just don't know, especially right now. Maybe a little bit down the road I'll consider it and try doing a lease purchase thing, but I'm trying to get myself reacquainted with all this regular over the road crap, because I'm rusty at the weights on the truck and some of this other stuff. I haven't had to deal with it, and I'm getting reacquainted with having to do all this other crap. So I kind of feel like, in some ways, even though I have plenty of years of experience and I've done all this stuff, I kind of gotta retrain myself on a lot of the stuff I haven't had to do in several years. And now I'm dealing with a truck that's a lot heavier, and it's a little bit more of a higher level of having to figure out how to make sure the weights are right and stuff, and learning some of the new stuff about the allowances for like the APU, where you can be 500 over, and all this stuff that I've never had to deal with in the past. I've always never in the past that I really have trucks with the APUs and knew about all this stuff. I just, in the someone's trying to talk on the CB.
What I'm going to do there, Big M, is I'm going to run this right alongside the curb here, and let's get them excited in the morning.
Huh. Wonder how far away they are. Anyway, so
I can do that too. Yep. I appreciate you.
Wonder where they're at. Anyway, I'm fixing to get off here.
Where's that one going?
I'm fixing to get off here and go relax, fix myself something to eat, maybe get some sleep, whatever. Maybe later I'll get up and try to make a video on something. But I'm just going to go kick back and relax. I got till tomorrow morning to chill and hope they get me in first thing in the morning. And hopefully they will fix my door latch, because Billy said that he had to fix his on his own. He had to open up his own door panel and rob the door latch knob thingy off his old truck. So maybe I'll have to do something similar. Hopefully it's all just inside the door panel and I just have to get it pushed back in and re-bend the thing up. But I kind of want those guys to work on that if I can get them to do it, because they will have all the right tools, and if I just want to make sure that have someone that knows what they're doing a little more and has all the right tools. And if that gets fucked up, I don't want it to be on me. So basically is what I'm waiting on, because I'm perfectly capable of figuring out how to take this door panel off by getting us screwdrivers on and stuff. And I'm just not sure if I have all the right tools. I've got some tools, but there's some tools I don't have. Like, I've got a screwdriver, but it's the kind of screwdriver that you put the bits in. I don't have a regular flap. Well, I have my Leatherman that I could use to do some of that stuff with. I just don't want to tackle it myself if I don't have to. I might as well have the shop try to do it with their tools and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna hop off here, go do something else, relax, play games on my phone, chill out, whatever, watch my shows, maybe watch a few more episodes of Smallville for the upteen 100th time, whatever, watch YouTube, whatever. And I got nothing but time to kill, get some sleep, talk to the wife and the kids, whatever. Anyways, thanks for coming by and watching. And this was a very long-winded live feed, and probably somewhat boring. I kind of repeated myself several times. So bye. Catch you later, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Leave any comments. Those of you catching this on the replay, surprised you're still on watching at this point. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up and stuff. Thanks, guys.